Hello, this is Steve, the Acrylic Glass Man on YouTube. I'm going to talk about making a pattern. I've got a bunch of people interested in some bevel clusters that I've got for sale. Yeah, so this is kind of a twofold video. Selling a lot of stained glass stuff. Well, giving people some ideas. This is an oval template that I made, and it's 16 inches, as you can see, 16 1/4 by 12. I'm not going to show you how I make ovals right now, because that's besides the point. So let's talk about this idea of how we can draw out a window or design a window really simply using bevels that are left over. Here's what I mean by left over. You get a bevel cluster. Let me reach for one. You get a bevel cluster, let's say like this one. Here's an exquisite bevel cluster, what they call it, and it's of a Celtic knot. Well, let's say I'm going to repair a window and I only need this piece and this piece. What do I do with the rest of the pieces? I'm going to throw them away, right? No, well, I'm going to save them. And when I save them, I create this. These are all one of a kind. I don't move them around. I just lay them in there and I set them down. I do not, because I don't want them scratched. So you gently pick them up. Nice pieces. Look at this one. They make a cool crown. That bevel's no longer made, by the way. But a lot of these pieces are really cool. Well, there's obviously a very usable one. Actually, all these are usable. If you're going to make abstracts, or you're going to, now that's kind of funky, that's obviously an abstract piece. Or you can put a jewel in there, in this area, the 2-inch jewel. And then when I get doubles in a cluster, for instance these large paisleys, I tape them together. So I got a left and a right. These are all pairs. I got lots of them. I mean, that's what you do when you repair a window, is you're going to accumulate lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. And you don't throw them away because, hey, you can make a lot of stuff. So here's what I'm going to show you. Here's what happens when you take all these pieces. When you've been in business and you're repairing a window, you're going to accumulate things. Well, I got an oval here, and the first thing I suggest you to do when you get an oval is you need to cut it in half. You need to dissect the oval. I gotta stand on my stool here so I can get some distance off of this board. I'll go in the air. That way you can kind of see. It's a good size oval. Well, here's a bevel cluster I put together out of pieces and parts. There's something funny about this cluster. It looks like a water spider. A water skeeter or whatever they call those things. Well, it's kind of neat. It's kind of funky, but it's neat. I mean, you can see where that bevel might have come from, and these little darts. And I've even turned that one around. That, in using it in the bevel, it kind of went from here over to here. So, well, anyway, mix and match them up. I made a kind of a skeeter, and that's where I'm going to lay it. I want to lay this point here, and I want to lay that point up there. So technically, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to trace this dude out. And when you do trace this dude out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that out to the edge. I'm going to draw, well, let's see. How are we going to use this dude? Well, so there. Kind of see what I did? I drew around here, kind of rounded it, and came out. So this is all going to be one piece right here. This is all going to be one piece. This is all going to be one piece. This is all going to be one piece. And what you're going to want to do when you cut this piece out, you mirror it over there so that you get this line, unless you feel really good about it yourself. And you draw it out. And you draw it out. Now, what would you use in that glass? What I'm tempted to do is I'm going to draw, oh, I see another idea I can do. I'm going to draw, or I'm going to use a dark piece here, and I'm going to use a dark piece down at the bottom. So, I'm going to set the camera down and I'm going to trace this dude out. So bear with me. Sorry about that. I do all my videos by myself. So, yes, and thank you very much. I'm tracing the bevel out right now, the outline. Okay, here we go. I just traced it out. Here's what I'm going to do. Kind of throwing down some ideas. This is kind of a difficult one. I should have picked something a little bit easier. What I want to do is I'm going to draw a border. Well, I'm going to draw this straight across so that, let's pretend that that line goes right over that bevel. I have a more technical way of doing it, but we're just going to simplify this at this point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this out of here. And let's just say that that piece comes up here. Let's do that. Now let's get rid of that line. There. See what I got? So let's just say, let's make this line right here. So this piece right here is going to be one long piece. I'm real comfortable with that. And if I was going to use a dark blue in here, let's just say I'm going to use a dark blue in the X. I'm going to use that same dark blue in that X in there as well. Because what I really want to do is kind of emphasize that maybe this piece, and this piece are all being, or let's go across. Let's don't even use that. So that when we do the window, this piece mirrors this piece, and this piece mirrors this piece. In other words, cut this piece of cardboard out, flop it over, and draw it over to the other side. Basically, you got something like that. Yeah, change your mind if you don't like that. If you don't want that dude in there at all, let's just erase it. Because that's the thing about design. I'm doing this with my right hand, so bear with me. Holding the camera with the left. So let's just say that we didn't like that. It looks too weird. Okay, what am I going to do with this line? Well, I'm going to lay some more pieces down in here. Just happen to have some pieces. And this bevel, it's almost like it was made for it. So, I'm going to lay that little bevel down in here, down at the bottom. Again, I'm going to trace that dude out. So what I want to do is I'm going to place that down there on the bottom. We're running into 8 minutes, so I'm going to have to do part A and part B, so sorry about that, folks. We'll just design A and B. So I'm going to cut it off right here and then start the video again.